unexpected visitor at his door that night, a girl claiming that he left his notebook at school. He immediately suspects the word notebook could be code for death notes. The girl introduces herself as Misa Amane and hands him a notebook, which sure enough is a death note, allowing Lights to see her Shinigami. She explains that the Shinigami eyes allow her to see everyone's name and lifespan unless they own a death note. She was able to identify him because she couldn't see his lifespan. Her request is to cooperate with him in exchange for being his girlfriend. Upon interrogating her, he discovers that she covered her tracks, and she's not quite as dumb as he thought. She tries her hardest to gain his trust, even allowing him to take her death note. She desperately wants to help him because Kita apparently killed a burglar who had murdered her parents. Lights accuses her of killing the innocent police officers who had tried to shut down the TV broadcast, which she argues was a necessary sacrifice to defeat evil. Misa represents another moral viewpoint in the story. Death Note has a way of creating characters that represent different schools of thought, which can probably be applied to any social issue. So far, we have Soichiro Yakumo on one end of the spectrum. He opposes Kita, but he's not willing to make even a single moral sacrifice to defeat him. Even going so far as carrying a gun as a civilian would break his code of conduct. Next is L. L is willing to break the rules. He's got no issue with illegal surveillance. It seems like he has no problem with cheating the rules to beat Kita, as long as there's no major harm. Later on, we see him steal things, illegally collect evidence, and even partake in false imprisonment in the name of justice. L has created his own code of morals, and he's following that in order to stop what he sees as evil, which is very similar to Lights. Light and L are both willing to do wrong in order to accomplish
Who is the hacker that just tried to flame me?
And he wants to kill L simply because they are a threat to Kita. Finally, Misa Amane is the most desperate to achieve her vision of justice. She's willing to kill totally innocent police officers who may or may not oppose Kita, and even offers to kill her friend who left her taxi envelopes sent to the police station.
Oh, sorry.
Resident is because in our world, everyone falls into one of these four categories, at least somewhere in between. For example, I think there's a similar debate with national security. You have those who want safety but aren't willing to give up any privacy to get it. That's Soichiro. Then you have those who believe everything should be monitored because we have to catch terrorists even if it means sacrificing privacy. That's Misa. There are plenty of Lights and L's in between. And by the way, I'm not saying that Misa is definitely the type to oppose privacy. You can easily flip this chart and say Soichiro is the one who is unwilling to compromise national security in his pursuit of privacy, and Misa is willing to give up anything for privacy. My point is that everyone thinks that they're working towards a better, more just world with varying levels of sacrifice required to achieve that. You most likely fit into one of these categories, and that's probably the character that you're rooting for in Death Note, right? Unless, of course, you're the type of person who just supports whatever character you find the most attractive, which goes back to rule number 4. Humans will naturally try to associate with attractive people as a means of protection and survival. And that may play a role in why Misa wants to team up with Lights. Anyway, after realizing he can manipulate her because of her obsession with Kita, Lights it's a sinister brand, because he realizes that he can use her to kill L. He's even planning on killing her after this. As the only person who knows he's Kita, she's a liability, even if she isn't as stupid as he initially thought. This is another example of Light using his charm to manipulate women. Misa fills him in on how a Shinigami can die, what it's like having the Shinigami eyes, and how she's been sending the tapes to the TV.
Forgetting I have both notebooks. If you don't obey me, I can easily kill you. I would never allow that to happen. If you do anything that results in this girl's death, the first thing I'll do is write your name in my death note. I will kill you.
Even if you're unwilling to give Light credit for anything else, you have to admire Light's focus and dedication to spreading his message. Misa had already gotten 2 Shinigami to fall in love with her, to the point that they would both be willing to give their lives for her. Not to mention, she's a model with a legion of adoring fans. Yet Light is seemingly the one person who doesn't fall for her. He reminds me of the stereotypical entrepreneur who puts off getting in a relationship while working to get that degree or build that business. Only instead of building the company himself, he's building what he believes will be a better world. However, since he can't kill Misa, it does create a challenging situation, because now she'll always be a liability. Details about her parents being killed by a burglar and avenged by Kita are already public knowledge online, which gives L a possible motivation to use against them as grounds for an indictment. Lights puts a band-aid on the situation by telling his mom and sister to keep Misa a secret because she was not allowed to have a boyfriend. Light is genuinely so good at coming up with lies, but I'm telling the truth when I say that that is our next one. Rule number 6. The liar's worst enemy is the one who believes it. Broken down in the simplest terms, someone test some of the best liars in the world. But since I know myself, the next best step, other entertainers. There were a few patterns I picked up. The big one was consistency. A good liar sticks with one story, definitely a big factor in making a good liar. This ties into the broader idea of emotional camouflage. One topic that I've discussed in several videos is incongruent affect. When a person's feelings do not match their appearance, or do not match what is appropriate for the situation. We get creeped out by characters like Michael Myers and
Can this dude leave me alone? I don't like him.
mechanism which primarily helps us spot predators who are trying to deceive us. We have evolved to get very good at picking up on this, which in turn gives us the ability to sense when someone is lying. Elle, for example, has an uncanny ability to detect lies in this manner. But the liars have evolved too. Some people, like White, are very good at tuning their emotions when telling the lie in order to make them fit what is appropriate for the situation. That's why I said earlier that I researched this by speaking to entertainers. If you think about it, actors are professional liars with the ability to tune their emotions to be believable to an audience. Other traits of a good liar are intelligence, a good memory, and being manipulative. All characteristics that can be found in White. These traits also happen to be present in many cult leaders, and White would become something of a cult leader himself, the cult of fear. So let's take a look at White's line about why his family should keep Misa a secret from